All right, here we go. We have a bonus video, another viewer request. So the other day when I showed, what I got for Christmas, my holiday haul, I mentioned Motormax fresh cherries, and then I was on the phone with my brother, and I mentioned that this was one of them, the 77 Ford Mustang 2. And he's like, wow, I'd like to see that one. And I decided to do the 77 Ford Mustang 2 and the 70 Ford Pinto because for those that know, the Mustang 2 was based on Pinto mechanicals, much like the original Mustang was based on Ford Falcon mechanicals, and the Fox body Mustang from 79 to 1993 was based on Ford Fairmont. So every Mustang had its beginnings with a quote-unquote lesser car. So with this video, we get to look at a couple of things. One is these two beautiful cars. The other one is Motormax, which I've never had any basic Motormax. I have a couple of basic Maisto and other brands. So I've always considered Motormax to be a pretty good brand, and I've seen on other channels they do have some crappy basic cars, but I only have a handful of Motormax cars. One other fresh cherries, which I had shown previously, which is his Ford Maverick, which we'll show there, and two from the American Graffiti series, which we'll show after we open these. So the first one we're going to open up is the Mustang 2 because that is the requested car. So I've already pre-cut these fresh cherries. Well, let's take a look at the packaging first. So Motormax fresh cherries, and it's licensed Ford. Gives a little information about the Mustang 2 from 74 to 78. And let's see if we can find a copyright date. We'll look on the bottom of the car. Hold on. All right. There's a Chrysler 2005. So let's see what it says on the car. So I guess that would be a good starting point for the era on these cars. So let's take this one out. And you get a little box and a little like trading card there. And Mustang 2s don't get a lot of love. Although they should. So let's see. Metal body, metal base, rubber tires, realistic looking rims. Pretty good details. Look at that. I mean, side marker, side trim, the chrome around the windows, the door handle, gas cap, rear marker. The rear taillight's done very nicely. License plate says 1977. Not a painted chassis, but the engine, transmission, the exhaust, drive shaft, rear differential, leaf springs, all done. Trim around the glass. You can see it says Mustang 2 there and Ford across across the rear bumper there. The details here are actually pretty damn good. Now let's see. Those look like lens inserted details for the headlights. The turn indicators and the Mustang pony and the grille are all done nicely. Now, no, I do not. Yeah, the Motormax ones do not have opening hoods. So let's see what we can see. Being very familiar with these cars, I mean, I don't know whether you can see the pleated vinyl on those seats. They look good. Trying to see the steering wheel. The steering wheel is not really visible, but it's a black interior. It's hard to say. But this is actually pretty cool. And so, let's see what it says on the bottom. Scale, I think says 160, 77 Ford Mustang 2, used under license, made in China. This type of raw metal and the age of it, you have to assume this has been on the card for 15 years. But that's nice. Now, I only have one other Mustang 2 in my collection from Greenlight. And let's just check. Greenlight is supposed to be 164, and I think this is just slightly larger. It did say 160, and you can tell it is just a little larger in length and slightly in width. But the details look just as good. And in fact, with the lens headlights, the details are a little bit better. Well, I don't know. But this one has an opening hood. As I recall, it doesn't open especially wide, but it has an opening hood, and it has a detail blue and silver painted engine. And blue interior, slightly better details on the interior. So the Greenlight is basically a $5 to $8 car. $5 if you can get it on the peg, $8 in the secondhand market. These factory rims are pretty good. But again, Motormax, I've seen Chasing Diecast Cars has done videos on different brands, and I believe he's done Motormax. And I know that they have lesser cars, but my experience is that they have these two series, the Fresh Cherries and the American Graffiti. And these ones, I think they do very well with. So let's take a quick look at the Pinto, a 1970 Ford Pinto. We're just going to see if there's a date difference. I don't think there will be. Copyright 2005. If you want to know more about the Pinto, you can freeze that and read that. My family, each of my parents had a Pinto, and I had a Pinto. A car that is much maligned. Yes, there were lawsuits. There were lawsuits with a lot of cars. Pintos were actually very good cars. I had a 1979 Pinto with a 2.3 liter V8. 2.3 liter four-cylinder. My mother had a 1971 with a 2 liter, and my father had a 1973 Pinto station wagon with a 2.3 liter. And we never had any problems, no accidents, no issues with any of them. Both of my parents were automatic transmissions. Mine was a 4-speed manual. My mother's was a 2-door in light brown. Mine was a 2-door in dark brown, and my father's was a station wagon in blue. Mine was, and my mother's had the trunk, not this lift back. So this is nicely done. It looks like the taillights are inserted painted details. All the chrome. These wheel covers look good. Again, metal base, metal body, rubber tires. Lensed headlights. The grille and bumper This one is screwed together. Let's take a look at the Mustang 2 for a second. That looks like a front and back rivet. And again, the hood will not open on this. Right? Right, yeah. But look at all the details. Let's see if we can get a better view of the interior. It's kind of dark in there. But this is a very nicely detailed. Again, it's unpainted, but you can see the drivetrain, you can see the exhaust, gas tank. I like this a lot. And so Pintos are not done a lot in diecast. Hot Wheels did a station wagon, a semi-fantasy, no, it was a Pinto station wagon. I think it was called Poison Pinto. And I'm unaware. I actually had a discussion on Instagram a while ago with a fella, and I wish I could remember his name because he seemed to be an absolute encyclopedia of diecast cars. I had posted a picture of my other Pinto. This is my second Pinto in diecast. I have shown my other one before, and that is from Johnny Lightning's Classic Gold. And this has been one of my favorite cars for a long time. It says it's a 1971 Pinto. This is a 1970. Painted details, very nicely painted details. This one has a trunk like my mother's and mine, and this one has an opening hood with, goofy enough, I think that has the V6, which wasn't available in, the V6 wasn't available in 70 or 71, I don't think. And in reality, you didn't see the Pinto in the two doors as much as you did in the three-door wagon. And I don't like Hot Wheels Poison Pinto because of the cartoonish graphics and proportions, and because they're expensive to buy in the secondhand market. But I tell you what, I would love to have another Pinto in real life. Now, so Johnny Lightning did a slightly better job. Look at the white wall tires and the wheel covers. Now, let's see what the stated scale, if we can read it here. I think it is also 160, so it should be slightly bigger. Well, if that's 160, I don't know. I think the scale on this is actually pretty good. They look very close. Now, I don't know if Motormax still produces cars in 1/64th scale, but I do know that they do larger scales. I have Motormax in 1/24th and 1/18th scale, I believe. They do some very nicely detailed models in those scales. So, Motormax Greenlight, Motormax Johnny Lightning. So I had shown the Motormax Maverick here, 1970 Maverick. And I believe that's also a scale of 160. And this one is screwed together. I had shown this before. Inserted headlights, nicely detailed taillights, all the chrome. This white is a little plain. Now, I think I had shown before my Johnny Lightning Classic Gold 1970 Ford Maverick. And this is from the Playing Mantis era. This has plastic wheels with the Craigers, but both have nice side marker details and Maverick script and rear lights and so forth. The Johnny Lightning, because it's a higher trim level, This would be either a Grabber or a Maverick GT. But this has a nice license plate. So the Johnny Lightning also has the opening hood with the proper inline 6-cylinder. And Johnny Lightning is sometimes accused of running small, but as stated, these Motormax, these fresh Cherries, all state 160. I have a few other Mavericks, not a lot. This is the Hot Wheels Maverick. Hold on. Hard to read this. Let's see. Custom Ford Maverick. Let's check this for scale. It's a little smaller than the Motormax. It's about the same as the Johnny Lightning. And of course, this is heavily modified with the fender flares and the overseas Japanese style front mirrors on the fenders and so forth. And, you know, your usual Hot Wheels sort of fantasy or race version. All right. I mentioned American Graffiti was another series that Motormax did, and I have two examples here that I'll show real quick. This is the Mustang Boss 351. You can see it says American Graffiti there. And again, now, so this is a screwed base. This is a plastic base with some fair detail for drivetrain. Used under license, let's see. Scale 164, 71 Ford Mustang, Boss 351. And those are lensed headlights, some nice details. Does this one have an opening hood? I mean, there's a little bit of a gap there, but I don't think it does, no. Nice Ram Air hood scoop. Nice painted details. The only downside is the American Graffiti graphic, which the series that they have, and you can find them on eBay, the taillights are wrong. They don't have the little bars on them. And Boss 351. And these are rubber tires. This is pretty nice. I should have pulled out a couple of other Mustangs. Maybe I will in a future video and compare them to this for scale. And then I've shown this one before because this is one of my favorite die-cast cars because it's one that, as far as I know, nobody else does. And that's what's amazing about Motormax. They do stock versions of cars, even with the silly American Graffiti. Oh, hold on. That's only on the driver's side. Huh. It's not on the passenger side on this one. I wonder if that's the case. Oh, okay. We'll see in a second. So this is another one they did. And this is a 1978 Ford Thunderbird. And plastic base, screwed, 1978 Ford Thunderbird, scale 164, used under license, made in China. These are rubber tires. They are a Krieger style aftermarket rim. It says American Graffiti there, but there are some very nice details. And of course, this is a car that I owned in real life. And yeah, it doesn't say American Graffiti, so it's only on the driver's side on these. And I want to get more of these American Graffiti. And this is very nicely done. Now, there's no lensed headlights because these are headlight doors. But there are chrome inserts for the turn lights, grill, bumper. In the back, There's an inserted painted taillight bar. You can see the Thunderbirds right there in the rear taillight lenses. You can see the door lock. The one I owned was almost exactly like this, the same white, and where you see this brownish orange on the sides and on the roof, mine was green, and that had a green interior. And it was a pig, but I loved it. Big old car like this, 1978. Mine had a 302 cubic inch, or nominally a 5-liter V8, with a 2-barrel carburetor, and only made 150 horsepower. And to compare, my 1.5 liter 4-cylinder Ford Escape makes 180 horsepower. And this was a heavy car, 3,800 pounds. But it was fun. And my brother and I, we modified it a little, and we took it to the racetrack, and he actually won a trophy in this car. Well, not this one in my hands, but yeah. So anyway, I'm going down memory lane, but Motormax, fresh cherries, which I have some more coming, and I sent a couple of examples off to people that I consider to be diecast aficionados for them to check out. And fresh cherries, these 3, and American Graffiti, these 2. And of course, the star of the video, the Mustang 2. Now, I was commenting on the Mustang Hunters video where he showed all of his Mustangs in his Mustang collection. And I said, wow, you don't have any Mustang 2s? And he said, no. And I realized that the only 2 brands that I know of that make them are Greenlight and Motormax. So if you're out there watching this, Motormax, check on eBay for the fresh cherries or the American Graffiti. And you may find them there. And of course, Greenlight has several versions. This from the Charlie's Angels. They have the new one, the new release of this, where they don't call that a Mustang, but they call that a Ford T5. And I know why it's called that. I'm sure my brother knows why it's called that. But if any of you, for bonus points in the comments, want to explain why the Mustang was called T5 in Germany, bonus points. Or if you want to know why it was called T5, comment down below. So this is just a bonus video. Bob, this one's for you. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys learned a little about Motormax, and just have a good night. This one ran long because these are cars I'm passionate about. They're all Fords. My Pinto, my T-Bird. I always wanted a Mustang too. I did own a Mustang, a newer Mustang. And this one is just so sweet because it's in a nice green, very 70s green. But now I'm ranting. So like, subscribe, comment. Let me know if you have Motormax, whether you think they're worth it. Just comment down below. Thank you. Good night.